All right, welcome to week 7. Our weekly payout went to Todd with Arian Foster. We had 141 yards, taking home the weekly prize, which is surprising for Todd because he traded Foster on Thursday night. So Foster left him with a gift as he said goodbye. Second time Todd's won a payout, which, speaking of Foster's present to Todd as he said goodbye, Todd and Andy Wallace did a trade on Thursday night, which I'm not really a big fan of. Wallace had Marshall and Charles at the time, which Marshall was locked because he was in the Thursday night game, so he wasn't able to be processed until Tuesday, which left Charles, Foster, and Demaryius Thomas kind of in limbo. Where had one of them gotten hurt, it would really put a black eye on the trade. But to each their own, just know that if you do this, you are gambling even more on this trade. So I just don't feel there's a need to put yourself at risk like this, but if you're going to do it, you guys all know the risk. If you accept a trade on Thursday night with one of these guys, it's deal's final. Don't gamble if you don't want to deal with one of your guys getting hurt that Sunday. So just so we're clear on that, in the future, if that were to ever arrive, just be careful. Another big gambling trade, actually. Justin, Mr. Gambler himself, traded Keenan Allen, Drew Brees, Ray Rice, Le'Veon Bell, and Bernard Pierce to Leaper for Matt Forte.
Don't forget Drew Brees.
Yeah, he said Drew Brees, but all
You
those
gotta say him twice.
Yes.
He's twice as many points as anyone got that.
although it was a 5-for-1 trade, so
5 for 1 trade.
Come on.
Leaper did give up Zach Stacy.
Hey, don't mock people for trades, dude.
Yes.
They come back and
It is true.
kill you.
It is true, actually.
How's CJ Spiller doing for you?
Yeah, terrible. It was not a 5-for-1. He got Zach Stacy and Daryl Richardson, which is Stacy's looking really good. He got Bennett. Justin really needed a tight end, and he got Kaepernick, who was everybody's darling quarterback, who really second half
can only get better.
Second half last year, Kaepernick dominated and in the playoffs. So it was a lot of upside for Justin. And Ray Rice isn't really who he used to be anymore. Basically, the jewel of that trade is probably going to be Keenan Allen for Leaper, I think. Our wrap-ups for the week, another shitty week scoring, basically.
What about your dad's trade? Getting Marshawn Lynch.
That was last week.
What? No, it was for this week.
Hmm.
First time you had him on his roster was this week.
Oh, well, he came back to get you. I forgot what the trade was. I guess I didn't look at that. I thought it was last week. What was the trade? Lynch and Drew for Gio and Djax, basically.
Yes.
My dad won that trade, probably. With this week he won, anyways. I don't fucking remember it. So
Marshawn had 38 points,
Yeah.
3 touchdowns, 100 yards, automatic.
But Gio and Djax can both be really good, especially with Foles.
Djax is the number 1 ranked wide receiver
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, it was a big trade for Drew. Speaking of my dad, only one team scored higher than 125 points last week. It was my dad. He scored 136.9. Nobody scored even more than 122, I don't think. Fun note, Leaper and myself both scored 116.4. Had we played each other and tied, just so everybody's clear, it would go to bench points, would be the tiebreaker, just in case that ever happens. Another tiebreaker, like for example, this week our payouts most quarterback passing yards. Say Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees both have 370 passing yards. The tiebreaker for that will be most fantasy points. This can be credited to anything, wide receiver yards or whatever. If anybody ties, it's going to be fantasy point wise, will be the tiebreaker. And if for some reason that ties, we'll deal with that later.
Just go to like wide receiver 2 or
Yeah.
running back 2.
Yeah, wide receiver 2, or touchdowns, yes. Fist fights, whatever, for $10. Other than my dad, I think everyone's probably pretty disappointed with their teams. Bye weeks are hitting and injuries. The fact that nobody's really scoring last week was, I think everybody feels like they need to improve. No one's undefeated anymore as Burt beat Todd. Todd lost Cobb for what is basically the rest of the fantasy season. I think he comes back week 15. So maybe Todd's going to hang on to him for his Super Bowl game.
Dump him. Blake will pick him up and hold him on his roster.
Josh is probably at the worst spot. He has 6 losses. Playoffs are looking really bleak. He probably has to win out to make the playoffs at this point. Other than that, Todd, like we said, has 1 loss. 5 people are tied or have 4-2 records. 4 are at 3-3. Leaper and Brad are both at 2-4, and Blake's at 1-5. So everybody's still relatively close. Nobody's sealed a spot at all, especially with Todd losing 1 game. The next 3 teams in his division are tied at 4-2. So Todd's essentially 1 game out of the playoffs almost now at this point. 1 loss away.
Well, top 4 make it, so even if he loses,
But if my dad wins, he's 4 and it's close. So basically,
yes.
Matchups for the week. I play Andy Wallace. Both of us are 4-2. We're tied for second in that same division with Bert. Brad plays Leaper. Both are 2-4, but both teams really their teams are better than their records show. I think.
I think we say that every year for Brad. Poor Brad. Every year, your team is way better than their record.
Yeah, it's called bad luck. It's a huge part of fantasy, luck. Todd plays Josh, the best record in the league versus the worst record. Carl plays Whipple in a battle of 3-3 teams. Whipple's been busy wiring a garage for the past week and a half, so he can't do trades apparently. He can only focus on one thing. I think that's all his medication allows. Just soul straight road guy. Bert plays Justin. Both are 4-2. Justin is tied for first with Andy Nelson. And Bert is actually a loss away from out of the playoffs and a win away from tied for first if Todd loses.
And he has a tiebreak because he beat Todd. So
he would be in first if Todd loses and Bert wins. But if Bert loses, he's out of the playoffs. It's just kind of the way it works.
I think Todd's got him by like 200 points.
Yeah. Don plays Blake. They both made a couple of trades with each other. A win here for Blake could get him back on track because he's got those 3 running backs that in years past you'd love to have: Doug Martin, Chris Johnson, and DeMarco Murray. I mean, you think you'd be set, but it just hasn't panned out for running backs at all, basically, this year outside of a few of them.
And Gronk. You don't know if you. To me, it would suck to have Gronk on your roster. He's going to play. He's not going to play. He's going to play. He's not going to play. He's going to play. He's not going to play. Well, now he doesn't want to play, or he'll tell us when. Just fucking put him in. Play.
And before the draft, all signs pointed to Gronk playing week 3. I think Blake took him in the 3rd round, which would have been huge. Having Gronk the past 4 or 5 weeks to score 25 points for you would be a huge difference maker for Blake. He'd probably have a couple more wins. Andy Nelson is in first place at 4-2. Plays Drew at 3-3, who made the trade last week, but still needs some more wide receivers. Drew roster still needs a little bit of help.
He helped his roster out this week for a 1-week wonder, possibly going big on Jonathan Randall.
Yeah.
In Dallas with a good matchup versus the Eagles.
So, and DeMarco Murray's he's injury prone, so you never know how long that'll last.
Yeah, thing.
You haven't made a move yet to replace Julio. Are you going to?
No one can replace Julio.
I agree, but I mean, you still have that hole at flex, basically. You're starting Golden Tate.
I do. I'd love to replace him, but I'm a little stingy with my roster. Doesn't help, and everyone's got more money than me.
So, who did you waste your fab on? Or McGahee?
Willis McGahee.
Yeah, but you traded him, so
yeah.
I think everybody has a guy that they probably wish they didn't bid on in fab anymore at this point. And some guys that they really got as a steal.
I got that Dobson. He might be a sneaky pickup from New England.
Have you ever seen him catch a ball? All I do is see him drop balls.
Well, he's
double-digit targets last week.
Yeah,
but he drops.
Drop. If he gets double-digit targets and he drops half of them, he catches 5.
Yeah,
5 for 85.
And he does have Brady throwing to him. Our Week 7 payout is most passing yards. We talked about it earlier. Hopefully, you have a good quarterback this week.
I got 2 good matchups for quarterback. We should have a poll question: who I should start, Rivers or Eli?
Oh my God.
The third choice would be nobody would give a shit.
Oh man, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Eli versus the Vikings, though.
Leaper voted for Rivers.
Monday.
Yeah, I think Eli sucks. So
who knows? I just may start him because you know what? For you gamblers out there, I like Jacksonville to flat out beat San Diego this week. So if you have any balls, go money line on the Jaguars. Short week for the Chargers, flying across country, play an early game. Jacksonville's 0-6, nothing to play for. San Diego still battling for a wild card spot. They got two teams 6-0 in front of them, but I think they're 4-2, so they're not too far out of the playoffs themselves.
Thank you for that gambling segment. We appreciate it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Who was your most disappointing this week, Andy?
Most disappointing, gonna have to say Jimmy Graham. What the hell?
I would
happened?
agree.
What the hell happened? All of a sudden, I look at the box score. He had no points, no catches. I don't even know what happened. You're a Jimmy Graham owner. What happened? Did you get hurt?
He did hurt.
And
He
did he
hurt
get
late.
did he
Got
not-
hurt late, but
Yeah, I thought he played.
he did play. He was on the field, but he got hurt late, and he's supposed to be fine. So I need
He was
him.
most disappointing. 0 points. Didn't cost you the win though, Kyle. You still got the win, but it's got to be frustrating. You can't really complain though when he's been getting you 30 every week, and then you get a 0.
And my eyes look completely closed in this video. I've been looking at him all night long. Looks like I'm completely fucked up.
Every week they look like
Yes,
that.
I look like I'm just higher than fuck, but I'm not. I'm just way fucked up late at night, I guess.
Best fantasy guy going with Vernon Davis. He finally broke out of his shell, catching like 10 balls for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, and I think that was all in the first half versus Arizona. So Vernon Davis was my stud of the week.
That's who was your best and worst trade? I mean, you've loved to rip people in this segment before.
I can't.
Big names got traded this week.
Huge names. I love the trade for that Leaper did to get to basically get Justin's starting roster. Anytime you get Drew Brees is a big win for you. Yes, you're giving up the potential in Colin Kaepernick, but Drew Brees is an automatic 300 yards and 3 TDs every single week. 25 to 35 fantasy points, automatic. So I like that trade for wet spots. Aside from the tough couple of weeks where he poured up big points and still got beat, he'd be right there right now, especially with this new roster. He's still scary. He's still knocking on the door of the playoffs, and he's got an outside shot at winning the actual division, only being 2 games out.
Yeah, you're right. He's really should be a 4-2.
Yes.
Who probably wasn't a worst trade this week because, I mean, kind of depends on how you feel.
No, I think all the trades this week went. Everyone got what they needed out of the trade.
What do you think of Todd and Andy's trade, the Charles and Marshall for?
Call me crazy. I thought it was to each your own trade. It was pretty even across the board.
Well, I mean, you could say top 5 running back,
Right.
top 10 wide receiver, top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, just wash, whichever one you like better, you get.
I like Charles better than Foster, and I like Marshall better than Demarius. But to each your own, Andy Wallace. I know you watched the video. You weren't able to be here tonight. You're watching Reagan. Hopefully Reagan's sleeping well tonight. Who's your lock of the week to win this week, Andy?
Lock of the week, I'm going with the bottom feeders to knock off Blake. Blake's got a little suspect lineup. Marco Murray going down. Gronk should be back. Don't know, tough call. But he did have a huge week from Cam Newton last week. Maybe Camkin is back on track to get going. Doug Martin's off his bye, so he's coming back. Hopefully that little rest may have lit a fire under Doug Martin. So Blake's been spinning his wheels a little bit. I think they're going to spin one more week because a lot of good matchups for Mr. Anderson's team.
I would probably eliminate Blake from the playoffs with another loss, but he knows that. Josh is 0-6, the only team to not win this year. Todd's not going undefeated. Does Josh go 0-16?
No, because he stops playing after 13.
0-13, sorry.
No, Josh won't go winless. I think he'll win 3 or 4.
3 or 4, that'd change everything. Well, good luck, Josh. Andy put you down at 4 wins, maybe. That's winning half your games the rest of the way.
There you go.
Over half, probably.
Just be 500 and you're good.
Yep, and you can go to the toilet bowl. So, good luck, everybody. Basketball season starts in 2 weeks. I'm excited. So, Thursday night game is what?
Seahawks and Chargers, or Seahawks and Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals. So, well, good luck, everybody. Start trading again. Bye weeks are fucking here. We need more trades to talk about.